Hi, I'm JB Wagner. Welcome to my channel, Unconventional Wisdom, where you don't need to subscribe or like because I'm not trying to make any money, and I'm not making any money. I'm doing this for fun and just to share my knowledge and perspective on things I've learned with over 50 years of experience in photography and a year or two in video. So I decided I have a lot of digital cameras, and I decided that I would do a little series because I'm going to start selling them at some point, and ask myself, of the cameras I have, which ones could end up being capable enough to be my go-to camera. And in this case, I'm reviewing the Panasonic Lumix GH6. Normally, the 12 to 70 Leica lens, zoom lens is mounted on this, which is absolutely the must-have, go-to, day-to-day lens. But right now, I'm using it to shoot this video on my Lumix G9 camera. So, but if you buy this camera, you want to buy it bundled with that lens. Usually it's cheaper, and there's some incredible deals out there now used for this package. I mean, it's almost heartbreaking and I got a great deal on it new when I got it, but it's crazy good deal, and that's because new models out, GH7, which has a superior autofocus system. This has contrast detection, which is not as good as phase or combination of phase and contrast, I guess. This autofocus easily meets my needs, and it's probably the best contrast detection that Panasonic ever came up with. But it's not in the same league as the very best from Sony and Nikon, Canon, Fuji. But the question is, do you need that? I don't know. This camera is weather sealed, so is that 12 to 60 lens. That's really important to me. I shoot in snow, rain, wind, sand. I want weather sealing on at least the primary lens that I use and the camera body, which this has. This also has incredible in-body image stabilization, which I use, and then with that 1260 lens has in-lens stabilization, and they combine to create probably maybe the absolute best stabilization ever created. And I use that in video, so I don't have to use a gimbal. I use it in photography, especially when like moving water, things where I don't want to use a tripod if I don't have to, but I can hold it for a second or half a second sometimes, and do an exposure with moving water and get that soft blurry effect. So that's a real big plus with this camera. I do always have a cage on if I have only one camera, because I want to shoot with video, put my microphone receiver here. I may want a handle grip here. One of the nice things about this is with this small rig cage is really good. This is the more expensive of the two that they had. They may only have this one now, but it's super well designed. It's very ergonomic. It conforms to the camera really well. It's got your tripod plate base built in, which I find to be incredibly handy, but you can still easily access your battery and your you can get your memory cards. Everything's accessible, so I love that. And then this has the unique screen that not only swings out but tilts up, and I think that's a great feature of this camera that is not common at all, and there are places where that becomes quite beneficial. I like the physical controls of the camera. They're really well laid out. They're all easy to reach. There's lots of them. They can be programmed. There's 2 recording buttons for video. It's just, even though it's really big for a micro Four Thirds camera, it's really well set up. And for me, since I don't really care about sensor size, because I shoot everything in photo in RAW and I process in DxO Photo Lab and in Topaz AI. I don't care about some of the criticisms of this for photo have been the amount of artifacts or grain or whatever, and I get rid of all that in post-processing. So that, I'm just talking about what it does for me. That's not an issue for me. It might be for you or somebody else, but it doesn't really matter to me. I love the electronic shutter that goes up to 32 thousandths of a second, so that you can do bokeh outside without even having lots of times to use a neutral density filter. So that's a real big plus. And I like the way the camera, it feels really solid and well made. And it does have a CF Express card. It has two cards, your standard card and a CF Express, which I actually like because I trust it more, the physicality of it. It's bigger, doesn't seem as vulnerable. I don't think it would be as easy to have it break or lose images on. So for me, it costs a little bit more, but I think it's worth it. And this has a fantastic viewfinder. It's like 3.8 million pixels approximately. It's that size. It's great for autofocus, for manual focus. It rivals a good traditional film SLR. So yeah, in spite of the fact that this has received some criticism on the photography front and the fact that it's always been marketed as a video camera, it meets all my needs. Now I'd have to compare it to the Olympus. The Olympus does have better autofocus. The Olympus OM1. It is a little small. It is smaller. Those are probably the two most obvious benefits of the Olympus, but I could use either one. I'm not sure yet which one I'd pick. Probably comes down to those two for me, frankly. I love the small micro four thirds lenses. Even though this camera's big, you can still benefit from small lenses. There's an incredible library of lenses out there, both Olympus, Lumix, and third party. You can adapt vintage lenses really easily to it, vintage manual focus, SLR lenses. So the prices come way down, especially on the secondhand market. It's a lot of camera for the money, and I could be happy with it all day long, every day. Okay, so I hope that's helpful. It's a little bit different take on it, but it's a beautiful camera in a lot of ways. And I hope you enjoyed this video.